What up, what up, what up? It's your favorite shit talking squirrel back from another Brooks video. So today we're going to be doing the next episode in the Case Watch series. I'm going to stick with day 2. We're going to do some more highlights. We had some new faces pop up this week, including a viewer from France. So that's cool. All of their info is up on the screen, but I'm also, as usual, going to link their respective YouTube/social media pages in the description. We had some returning viewers come in again, but always looking to get some new, fresh faces in there. So if you would like to participate, message me in the Discord. I think there are about 3 of you that are confirmed for next week, but the more the merrier. This one went kind of long. Gosh, time just flew by. I love doing this series with you guys. It was like all of a sudden I looked at the clock and almost 3 hours had passed. So I'm gonna have to cut around, the entire length for just kind of the best parts. We also had some technical difficulties at one point, so if you see some jump cuts, that's just me kind of, giving you guys the most interesting pieces and/or cutting out some tech issues. Real quick before we start, I'm not sure how much crossover we're gonna have, but I was recently a guest on the Bookie podcast. That's Bookie, Bookie, and we talked about Lost. So, I don't know how many of you like podcasts and or the Lost show, but if you do, I recommend you checking that out. We go over the pilot, episode 1, season 1, and the link to that show will be in the description. So, barring all of that, let's just jump on into the content, shall we? Let's get this.
And the nature and cause of the charges against me, Your Honor, and I still would motion for, or tennis motion for the jurisdiction to be proven, the subject matter jurisdiction. And also, motion
Off to a bad start right out the rip.
Your requests are all noted for the record, and for the reasons previously stated on this record, I'm not going to answer those requests any further. They've already been denied by the court. I point you
10
to
million times.
She should have kept this same energy
Benaby
right here. I know a lot of people say like everybody loves her as a judge, and like she was really, respectful and professional, but sometimes I felt like she allowed him to bully her, and it really came across bad sometimes. Like I just felt like she should have kept the same energy and like not switch, like telling him she won't address something, then 5 seconds later addressing it. Like
I mentioned in our last stream that I don't necessarily agree that she had to take the approach that she did. And it's not like knocking her or anything, but I really think a firmer judge really could have gotten away with just slapping a muzzle on him and pushing the trial right through. But that's
I think everybody's gonna always come in with the opinion, she was, trying to protect the appeal. But like the case suffers in the face of her trying to protect this appeal. Like the state really has trouble even getting their case out in front of all of Darrell's fucking obnoxious interruptions. Like they can barely fucking get a word in edgewise. They can't speak with this guy in the courtroom. Like at what point, yes, do we want to protect the record or even the case for appeal? At what point are we putting the fucking cart before the horse? Like, let's get this guy convicted and get an actual fucking clean record, admitted before we even worry about fucking whether or not he's gonna go in for appeal. Like, kick him the fuck out. You gotta be able to mute him at some points.
Exactly.
I agree, but don't you think she saw a psychiatric doctor before going to court, like for some advice?
Yeah, he saw 4.
The judge might have saw a psychiatric doctor before to know how to handle with him.
Oh, you think that maybe she should have consulted with somebody who works in mental health to kind of get some
I
advice on
guess.
how to deal with somebody with borderline personality. That's actually
I
not a
guess.
bad idea. I mean, we don't know if she did that. I mean, she very clearly gets intimidated by him,
Hmm.
and who wouldn't? I mean, in the face of this guy, he is so good at picking up on, like Nate Nawson and I talked about in other episodes, the little minor body language indicators. Like he's such
Hmm.
learned behaviors. He's so good at just honing in on people's weaknesses and jumping in when he feels the opportunity is the best. And I couldn't do it. This guy would manipulate the shit out of me.
Whoever
Uh,
said he had borderline personality disorder? Like someone said that last stream. Where did that
I
come from?
she says that in the sentencing remarks. I thought, am I remembering that wrong?
I don't remember that. I remember
I
her
think
saying that
that
he's like a sociopath, is what she was saying.
Huh?
She
Yeah,
It
I
talked
don't.
was
about.
it was
She talked
anti
about it. She
it was
talked
it,
about it.
it was antisocial personality disorder, not borderline personality disorder. Borderline
Oh, okay.
personality disorder is a much more nuanced and complex mental
Hmm.
illness that usually women suffer from. Just I don't know where that came from. I didn't hear that in the sentencing remarks.
You're right. It's antisocial. I thought it was. I think I'm mixing up Amber Heard because I think they talked a lot about borderline with her.
Yeah, and
My bad.
histrionic
What is it,
650.
and
Charlotte?
histrionic personality disorder
Histrionic?
for Amber Heard. Yeah,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of that.
Before
Yeah, me either. That's interesting.
753. All right. Anything else, sir?
I'm not interrupting, am I?
I'm asking you a question.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I would like the record to reflect. Is that a judicial determination that you are making?
I love that question.
Your Honor, your
The
Mr.
dead
Brooks, the record
silence
speaks
too.
for
That's met
itself.
afterwards.
I've made my decision. We're moving on. All right. With that, then,
I think
state
we may have
have,
watched this
a
last
witness
time, but it's
available
fine.
to
We
be
can just
called.
roll on.
We do. Would you also just make a record, Your Honor, this morning that Mr. Brooks does appear again in his orange jail uniform and that he was offered the ability to wear street clothes and declined that offer? Also, he does have, appears to have all of his discovery materials at the table with him.
Yes, thank you. I should make a record of that as well. I didn't state at the outset, Mr. Brooks is here in person and in custody. He once again has come to the courtroom in jail attire. I presume, Mr. Brooks, but please confirm for me, you were offered the opportunity to change into street clothes?
As I stated on the record yesterday, I'm waiting for the results of the COVID test that I took. So until I get those results back, I would prefer to not wear street clothes at this time.
Wait, what? Pause this for a sec. What does the COVID test have anything to do with putting on a suit? I don't understand how those two are connected in the slightest.
he doesn't want his suit to get COVID.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Are you just making a joke?
Yes.
No. Yeah. Doesn't want the suit to get COVID. I thought you meant like he didn't want to get the contamination on. It's fucking funny. Poor suit getting sick.
Right. Can you confirm for me, though, that you were
It's
provided
so
an
stupid.
opportunity to change into them if you so chose?
And not to my knowledge.
Sir, I'm providing you with that opportunity right now. If you would like to change into your street clothes, into the suit and tie that you had previously, or any other street clothes, I would give you that opportunity.
Any other
Did you
street
hear me
clothes?
advise you of
You
that?
Yeah,
can roll in here with like baggy jeans and a fucking John Cena chain on, flat rim hat.
Full math boy fly attire
Yeah, put the dreads back in.
with the
You'd have to
grill.
screw him down into his head. Those fake dreads.
Now?
I might consider it. Maybe I may have more information from the medical staff once we take a break, or maybe at I'm anticipating. Well, actually, I anticipated that I would know before we even started court. So
Do you want me to have the bailiffs ask the CO if there's any new information that can be relayed to you before we bring the jury out?
that would be helpful, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection? I could email the jail administrator if you want, or I can just simply have the bailiffs do that.
Whichever works best for Your Honor.
All right, let's see. She's not going to give me information in an email, that much I know, but I could at least find out if there's new information. If there's new information, then it's going to have to be given to you directly. That may require you to be taken into the holding cell to be given that information, okay?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Let me just continue that. Again, right now he's in the jail attire. We're going to give him an opportunity to see if there's any update regarding the testing that was done earlier this week. And until we at least get word whether there is new information or not, we'll not bring the jury out.
Yeah, so we said last time that the COVID test was during the trial, but yeah, obviously we're learning now that it was beforehand. Somebody commented that too, so quick correction.
I will make a record that Mr. Brooks does have the 3 boxes that have been referenced previously. I see the objection sign. I see the selected statutes that the court provided to him previously, and I see
a sign that says "No girls only." In case he wants to build his little box fort again. No girls allowed.
In front of him. So he looks as if he's prepared to participate meaningfully today.
Can I say something real quick for the record, Your Honor?
Sure.
What is the cameraman doing?
Bring these boxes up.
There they are.
I have not
Yeah,
had the
That's them.
time
cutting
go
away
through
to the
everything
basic
in
duty
there.
boxes.
As you can see,
He's like in love with the damn box.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time. And who can say if your love grows, as your heart shows, only time.
as you can see, it's a lot. And that's putting it minimal. A lot. So I have not had the time to go through everything that's in there.
You got a
I'm
year,
winging it.
man. A year.
Yeah, and the fact that there's a lot of material is evidence to the fact that he is well fucking prepared. And this claim that he fucking goes on about not having enough time to do any work. I was watching his direct examination, or no, yeah, he was questioning Detective Carpenter. He didn't do any, to say he didn't do any preparation is what I learned recently, a fucking understatement. He is literally up there just coming up with questions off the top of his head. Like, he is not going back to his cell and working on his case in the fucking slightest. He is so lost. It's like, it's preposterous to me that to quote himself, his life is on the line, and he would just go back to his cell every night, eat fucking spaghetti, touch himself and go to sleep. Like, how could you fucking it's so absurd. He goes into this whole tirade with Detective Carpenter about policy and why were you allowed to leave the recording on? And at one point, because he goes on and on asking so many questions about this, Darrell has to clear the courtroom and be like, "You're questioning him about policy. I've already admitted this evidence. All of these questions are irrelevant. Can you explain to me how these questions have any bearing on this case?" And he just he goes into his fucking typical script about, "I think it's pretty clear. It's obvious." That's the best he can come up with. Is fucking, it's obvious. How is it obvious? Obvious to whom and to what? Oh, he's so fucking frustrating.
Yeah, they could give him all the time in the world and he still wouldn't go through and read all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is
But I
very
believe when
indicative.
he says he's not prepared, I believe that. When he says there's a ton of paperwork there and he hasn't looked at any of it, I believe that.
Yeah, yeah, because he hasn't even attempted to.
Well,
I
part
mean,
of
there
that is
were.
because he just fired his defense team and they did all that work, and then he never
Yeah,
looked at any of the paperwork, even since he
yeah.
fired them.
He
But they could
probably
give
had
him all the
access.
time of the world, and he's not ever gonna read through it anyway. So it's a moot point.
Yeah,
You're
they
right.
could put the case on hold for another year, and he'd still come in there crying about not having enough time to go through everything, and probably still wouldn't have.
They could strap
Ugh.
like goggles to his eyes, like Blanca from the Street Fighter movie, and flash
Like,
those images of all the paperwork in front of his eyes forcefully, and he still wouldn't read it.
Clockwork Orange, where they strap him down to the chair and put those
Yeah.
things into his eyes where they hold it open.
Stop it, please! I beg you! It's a sin! It's a sin!
And he'd be sitting there like looking away. Please, God, stop!
No,
Not my.
homework.
Oh, dear Lord.
Deputy Wittig, any new information? All right, well, can you provide that? Well, let me just do it. All right, the information that I have on whether there's new information is, they don't have the results, but medical will be called again to check on that, to see if anything new, any new information is available, but as of right now, there's not. I also was advised that you were offered 3 times to have street closed by Officer Gabor. Just want to make a record of that. All right, then, Mr. Brooks, we don't have apparently new information. I intend to just continue then, okay?
Really quick. To the decision of Your Honor for me to be removed from the proceedings over the last few days. That was used from the Illinois versus Allen, right?
Correct. I also had cited to a case that I believe is on point, although not binding on this court. I am persuaded by the reasoning in United States versus Jennings, found at 855 F Sup 1427, which is from 1994, from Pennsylvania. And as well as, sorry, just that one. That was affirmed by the Third Circuit in United States v. Jennings, 61 F. 3rd, 867. Third Circuit, 1995.
There's probably more.
So the first decision I referenced was a federal district court decision, and then the Third Circuit decision. Let me know if you need those citations again.
Does any one of those mention the being present through audio and visual?
They're talking about
Yes.
his right to be present in the court and the what is it, Illinois versus Allen?
Is
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't she? I could have sworn at some point she is able to come up with something, because he brings this up all the time. How there's the 3 options that don't include the audio visual thing, but I could have sworn at some point she's like, "What's the 4th one, sir?"
There's no 4th one because it was 2. There was no technology at this time.
Yeah, when they invented the law.
Yeah. So they couldn't put it in it.
Yeah. So she
But
just,
it doesn't mean they can't do it.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure whatever she's doing is legal, but so is he accurate when he says you just made the fourth option up? Did she literally make up the fourth option? I mean, obviously she needs to do something and doesn't want to gag him, and I'm sure, like I said, what she's doing is illegal, but
Yes.
she at one point
The,
says,
the answer is
fourth?
yes. The answer to your question is yes.
So she literally did make up the fourth option.
Correct.
Yes.
Interesting.
Audio.
Which is better for him.
Yeah.
In other words, the
Would that be
defendant in that case, who also was a pro se defendant, was removed from the courtroom after he said he would continue disruptive conduct in the presence of prospective jurors, but he was able to continue to listen to proceedings through loudspeakers and transmit messages to the court, was barred, and what the court held is he was barred from the proceedings by his own conduct, not by the court, and the conviction in that case was affirmed. Do you want that citation again?
No, I'm not interrupting, am I?
No, go ahead.
I do represent myself pro per. I would like that stated for the record. Like the record to reflect that, not pro se.
The record will so reflect your choice of term to describe your appearance today.
It's the same. Anyway.
I briefly read Illinois versus Allen. It didn't say it didn't give any reference at all to him being present by audio or visual in that case whatsoever. It just strictly talks about the reasons that he was removed and the options that
he's actually making a legal argument here. This is like kind of surprising.
One of them being that he could be bound and gagged. One of them being that he can be held in contempt and removed from the courtroom while the trial would continue, but it did not say anything about being present visually or by audio.
Well, I appreciate you reading the case, sir, and providing that information. I'm well aware of what the case says, and as that case says, the Supreme Court talked about there would be no one formula for maintaining the appropriate courtroom atmosphere, and no one formula will be best in all situations. But the Supreme Court said this: we think there are at least 3 constitutionally permissible ways for a trial judge to handle an obstreperous defendant like Allen, going through the 3 things that you identify. And my findings here are that there's a 4th way, and that's through the wonders of technology that weren't available in 1970 when that decision was authored. So I appreciate the notation on the record. You are here today, and I hope you stay here today. That's certainly my preference. You've demonstrated you're able to prepare, you're able to ask questions, you're able to articulate in a clear, coherent, cogent, and
like a big
responsive
boy
way. And I'd like to bring
Want
the
a
jury
cookie?
out. That's what we're going to do next.
Still not like a real lawyer, but like a civilized human person, like a normal human being. Oh, the bar is set so low. She's so proud of him for just acting normal.
That 4th way, Your Honor. Also, when he
Mr.
talked,
Brooks, my decision stands from previous. If you believe there's any error that I made, that is for you to address if there is a conviction and on appeal. But my decision stands, and the record speaks for itself.
Yeah, here we go. He doesn't like it.
that I intend to appeal that judicial
Okay.
decision, Your Honor.
Understood. You may appeal as you deem appropriate.
Will he let it
All right,
go?
thank you. Let's bring the jury out.
Never.
I will ask everyone stand.
Looks like he
for
is.
The jury.
Is he
I'll
gonna
stand
mutter
for that.
while they're coming out?
Yeah. I think he's trying to be on. What the fuck was that? I think he's trying to be on his best behavior here because we're still pretty early in. Like, I think it might be day 3, but he even like comes in and apologizes, and then, you know, as the evidence starts to build up and he starts to get more and more afraid that his whole case is going downhill, he just starts to get more and more unruly as he struggles to deal with that reality.
Yeah. Is he supposed to be standing? Why did
Yes,
he
he
sit back
was.
down?
Yeah, he stood up and then sat down though. I think he's waiting until they actually show up.
Or he's trying
Just
to.
to be a defiant little shit, you know.
Teresa,
Glaring at her. What the fuck? Oh, did we lose audio?
I don't know.
That's from the original
So I'm gonna
video.
send you this email. I just need the
Okay.
cases printed off. I don't want to interrupt printing here. Or do you want to send it to the? I'm not going to send it. I'd have to search for it. So
More paper shuffling.
sounds good.
Yeah, he is. He's the only one sitting. Yep.
But that's a great idea. Next.
'Cause I'm special. I do what I want. I'm special.
I just don't like to make toys.
Hey guys, Beefy cutting in with another cutaway commentary inception clip from the editing room. But I just had to insert this clip from Rudolph because Darrell is giving up such straight "I don't want to make toys" vibes in this clip by not standing for the jury. But apparently that's another Mandela effect, because while searching for that clip of Hermie saying that, the "I don't want to make toys," I ended up watching the entire Rudolph movie in March, because 1, it's an effing classic, and 2, I have that odd completionist gene in me, so to avoid triggering anyone else out there who might have the same weird freaking behavioral pattern where you might also be wondering, it's not in there. He says, "I just don't like to make toys." He never says, "I don't want to make toys." He says, "I just don't like to make toys." So, there you go, just to avoid that for anyone. Also, shout out to my boy Hermie for being bold enough to be himself, by the way. Even back in the boomer utopic wasteland that was the 1964.
But I don't need anybody. I'm independent.
Well, when they told him to stand, it wasn't a judicial determination, so it didn't count.
Yeah. Never actually reads anything, just constantly shuffling things around. It's like almost OCD, but like obviously not. Very important to him, all these documents that he never reads. But he likes them.
Be seated when you come in. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Welcome back. Have a seat, and I'll make sure you all, looks like you all have your writing materials to take notes.
I think
if
they
you
might
so
call
choose.
Erica as a first witness, and we've already reacted to
For the
that. Do you want to
record,
maybe
I have
skip ahead
received
to,
exhibits 1,
I
3,
think it's Detective Goof?
and 5.
Is this
With
what
that,
you're
the
saying?
state may
Oh, you're
call
right,
its
yeah.
next witness.
Thank you. The state
I
calls
think I have
Erica
time.
Powers.
Wow,
Yeah,
you know all about it.
That the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Is this the guy?
Thank you, sir. Please be
Yes.
seated.
Yes, Detective Goof, yeah.
When you are seated,
Goof,
if
or
you
as he
would
calls him,
please state your
Detective Goof.
first and last names for the record and spell both.
Detective Stephen Guth, Steven Guth.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Detective, what do you do for a living?
I'm a detective for the City of Waukesha Police
How long
It's
have
kind
you
of
worked
redundant.
20 years.
How long as a detective?
7 years.
Okay. Were you working as a detective on November 22nd of 2021?
Yes, I was.
On that date, did
What
you
a
meet with
crazy
somebody
day that
named
must have
Erica
been.
Patterson?
Yes, I did.
What was the purpose of meeting with Miss Patterson?
Did you listen to the 911 calls?
What's that?
Did you listen to the 911 calls?
Oh, I heard the one from Don Woods about him taking the car, but are you saying like from victims or?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Oh
horrific.
yeah, I
Horrific.
was about, I was about to say I don't know if I'd even want to subject myself to that. It sounds so awful.
It's awful.
Can't I can't imagine.
Awful.
I was gonna ask. So what's your interpretation of how criminal persecutions are happening in America as in comparison to France?
It's not the same because here the jury gives a sentence.
Is that the
So the
only
jury
difference?
say guilty, not guilty, and gives a sentence.
That's
Wow,
not
that's
true.
kind of.
Yeah.
Oh,
The worst.
The judge gives the sentence.
Yeah.
no,
The
we're
worst.
saying in France, Nate.
What?
The worst you can get in
Oh,
France. The worst you can get in France is 30 years.
Oh,
The
so you can't
worst.
even
Yeah.
you can't get life in France?
No, but actually, there are some people that stay until they die. But in the text, it's 30 years.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts that you would let your I mean not let there's no choice in it, but that your hands would be put into the fate of just like kind of 12 everyday citizens. I mean, I guess they need to come to a unanimous decision, but I mean, they're not schooled in the law. Does the judge kind of help them along on what the legal text would recommend, or how does that work?
No, after 30 years, the judge says, okay, he can get out, or no, it's too dangerous. He stays in prison.
Okay, gotcha. I thought I saw a documentary. Isn't the judge like involved in the investigation somehow?
Yeah, it's another judge. There's
Two
an
judges.
investigator judge that do the work, like your DA. What your DA are doing, it's a judge here that does it.
That's
Okay?
so weird.
And then you got another judge to judge during trial.
A detective judge and a judge.
Yeah, kind of.
Interesting. Which system do you think works better, the French one or the American one?
I don't know. Because like Darrell Brooks, I'm
Yeah.
against the death penalty. Okay, I'm against it. Okay, well, but for this case, I would be for the death penalty.
Yeah, I think we would all agree that. I
So,
don't know.
so if he was in France, I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
So it's better for him to be judged in America than in France.
Well, not
For people
necessarily. Oh,
around.
actually, yeah, because he would only
Yeah.
gotten 30 years next to the 1,000.
No way
Crazy.
here. No way. We're making fun of it here, about like 100 years sentences. We're making fun
Yeah.
of it here. I'm sorry,
what's the-
guys, but we're making fun of it.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah. It's like, oh, those crazy Americans,
Yeah.
well, I
I'm
can't
sure that's
believe
not.
I can't believe a mass murderer could be sentenced to 30 years.
Yeah.
Yes, but it doesn't mean it will get out of jail.
Just the
But-
fact that it's possible. It's crazy
But
to me.
if he plays right, we had this guy who killed his son, his daughter, his wife, his father, his mother, and he's out now after 27 years.
Yeah. See, so there's a flaw right there. And
He's
the
out
30-year
after
cap.
27 years. He's out on probation. He's
Yeah,
out.
that's not good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where did this journey with Miss Phillips, or Patterson, excuse me, Miss Patterson begin?
Once I picked her up, we moved to Frame Park, and we parked in the area that's close to where that star is, where it says Frame Park.
In the top right corner?
Correct.
Okay. And where did you go from there?
From there, we traveled on Baxter. So the way that the frame park is here, can I touch the screen?
Do we have the ability to let the witness touch and
Yes.
mark?
Just let us know at what points we'll capture it, and then we can also print it at another location and if need be.
So we met generally in that area that's highlighted now in yellow. We traveled in this direction on Baxter.
Okay. And then what?
As we continued down Baxter, we got to this street called Buckley, and then from Buckley, we made a right turn and ended up on Carina.
Let's go back up.
Yeah, don't
And
move the
let's-
screen until we can capture it.
Let's capture there. And we probably need to.
If you saw the little number counting the percentage, that means it's done capturing it. Once it stops.
Okay. Can we clear that now? And let's zoom out.
We'll get that printed and we'll have that marked as 1A.
Now, from where you left off there, after you made that right turn onto Buckley, can you draw on the screen where you went next?
Yeah, so again on Buckley, we did travel down Buckley to Carina. And then on Carina, we made a left turn, traveling along the river till we reached Barstow. And then from Barstow, we made a right turn, traveling up northwest Barstow, all the way to the Barstow Hill, where it's highlighted in green there, up the Barstow Hill, and it's going to come off the map, but all the way up to Bidwell.
Okay. And did she indicate at what point you should turn around?
At Bidwell and northwest Barstow.
Did she indicate where she went with Mr. Brooks after that?
Well, she jumped out of the car at Bidwell and northwest Barstow.
And what happened, according to Miss Patterson, at that point?
At that point, she started
Taking on
her
the
way
fucking
back
ride
the
from
same
hell.
path, back to Frame Park. Again, because she was unfamiliar with the geography, she just used the same route that she just went.
Okay. Did she at any
I
point
heard that
mention?
if when she got paid, like they would live in that car, like in his mother's garage, and I think that like she would like try to get like little odd jobs or like work. I think she got a job as a CNA at night, but like if she didn't like turn over her EBT card, which is like a access card for like food stamps, or he didn't give him all her check or something like that, like he would literally just beat the shit out of her. Like
He would take her money?
he would take her which is kind of weird to me. I just a couple times I spoke to her, I didn't want to ask that, but like she doesn't have any custody of her children for whatever her personal reasons are, but she still had like an EBT access card. I only thought that you get that if you had like children living with you, but unfortunately none of her children are living with her for whatever reason.
You can
So-
still get EBT if you don't have kids. There's a lot of people that are on food
I
stamps.
see. I didn't know that. I thought it was like connected to kids. Well, that explains it then. Well, he would take that card from her and basically like take her fucking money and take that card and like, yeah, beat the shit out of her.
So fucked up. Oh my god.
He'd beat on her
Yeah.
with the food. He'd like throw potatoes at her.
No.
Jesus, that's so dark, man. I know you have a dark sense of humor, but that's fucked up.
The
Jesus
fucked up part
Christ.
about the like he drove out there that day. He had been harassing her the whole, I think, like leading up to him coming home from the mother bailing him out. So he drove out there with the intention that day to like do exactly what he did. Maybe I don't know if driving through the parade was in his plans, but like confronting her, forcing her to give whatever money she had. And like, if she didn't, he was going to do exactly what he did to her in that car. Like, that's why he went out there to do that.
So it never even really had anything to do with the fact that she didn't bail him out. Him taking her money was just like a normal thing. So this was just like another day in the life of Darrell Brooks.
If you really want to know who he is this trial shows you exactly who he is as a person, but like, listen to that transcript of when he's talking to her from jail. Like he's full manifestation devil mode in that transcript when he's talking to her. Like that.
Yeah, I posted the screenshots of the transcripts last video when we talked about it, but I find it very fascinating that we have this whole narrative from him when he's in the interrogation that she's all up in his shit trying to get him to come see her. And it's actually the opposite. He is so obsessed with controlling this woman that he drives to other towns without his. I mean, I don't know how much I believe Dawn Woods that she didn't know he was taking the car, but regardless, he drives without a license like several towns over just to torture her and take her fucking money. And it wasn't even
Exactly.
like an isolated incident. This was just like
No.
a daily occurrence. It's so fucking disgusting.
It
The
just
fact that he's in that fucking jail now for the rest of his life, like so many people in this dude's everyday life is like they've been freed from him. Like seriously, even the mother. Like I don't know him, of course. I don't know him personally at all, but I just think that I can just imagine like him. He was just like a fucking human terror to everybody who ever came in contact with him. Just like the mental manipulation, the narcissism, the abuse. Like, can you imagine him in your everyday life every single day when you like think you're obligated to have to deal with him because of emotional issues? It's like he's a fucking man. They
He
got
abused his
spared.
mother as well.
Yes, he did. He did. Mentally.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard mentally and physically. I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting a weapon on her head.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Yeah.
I'm sure as soon as puberty hit, he went after his mother. As soon as
Yes.
she got bigger than her, that was that.
Yes.
Jesus.
But he thought of Erica like his fucking like I mean I don't want to speculate because I don't know her life, of course not, and I don't know what she went through, but obviously she was a young girl out there. You know, her parents, I think her parents died or her mother passed away young, and I think
Her
that she was
father.
out there
She didn't know her father.
something to
Yeah.
that, like she had a rough life growing up, and I think when she met him, like I don't know. I don't want to say too much because that's speculation, but I've heard some things, and I just think that he just capitalized off of that, and like he
Well,
just took advantage of that.
There's an old video of, I mean, it's of Darrell, so take that for what it's worth. And I kind of took it as that's how he was explaining how he was on the registry, because
Yeah.
he said that when he was out in Nevada, he was pimping her out.
Yes,
And
I
I
heard
kind of
that.
thought that that was his way of explaining how he was on the registry.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't
But
put any. I've seen that video too, and people have said that that was posted to his Mac Boy Fly Twitter, which is like apparently a quote unquote rap persona. Like it's really not
right,
supposed to be his actual
honestly,
thoughts.
I believe it. I believe it.
I don't.
I do too.
That totally makes sense.
I do
That makes
too.
everything about it make sense. That's why he thinks
I
it's
think
okay to beat on her to take her
Yes,
money.
yeah.
dude. Right. Absolutely.
And the
You hit
fact
it.
that
I didn't
she
want to
was
say that, but you
15
said
makes
it.
it even worse.
Yeah.
She was 14. She was 15 when she had the baby. So you figure, depending on when she got pregnant, whatever, she has the potential to be 14 years old.
Yes.
That's
He's
And
definitely a
insane.
predator. He
I
was
don't think he
definitely a
has
predator.
enough self confidence to accept her hooking up with other guys. He is so obsessed with her. I mean, we see it. He is so he can't let her go for a single day. I can't picture him coming to grips with the idea of her being in the hands of another man, even for a few moments, if he's benefiting from it financially.
Well,
I really
they weren't together for the whole 15 years since, she was pregnant or whatever. They would have been on and off. So
And
I think
is that really how you treat someone that you care about
he
anyway?
doesn't
well,
care about
obviously
her.
not.
He controls her. He takes her when he needs her.
If you listen to that transcript, if you read back some of her responses and the way that he's talking to her on that transcript, it's almost like and I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I'm just going to say it almost sounds like a pimp talking to like bow down, and you need to fucking understand that, basically you're a piece of shit without me and you need to get that money and all of that. Her responses wasn't
It's all
like
about.
her responses back wasn't like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, why would you say that? It was like, oh, okay, I'm trying, I'm working on it, that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
because she's
Yeah,
been programmed since she's been 14 that that he's like
yeah,
her savior type of thing, because I'm sure that's how it started.
yeah. Well,
Like he's going to save her, he's going to help her, and then slowly but surely he groomed her to what he needed her to be.
Well,
exactly.
And
it
then
goes
she's so
beyond
beat
even.
down in life that she thinks that that's what she deserves from him, or she deserves from people in general.
But that
It's
second
all
time she
about
came,
power and control.
that
Oh,
second,
He,
100%.
she
you
came to
know,
court that
he's
second time, she was
cooperating.
stronger than the ox up there. Like, I told her
That
that.
was so empowering for her to sit up on that stand and be like, that's not what happened. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, for her to finally be able to have a voice. Because the whole case was about, for him, I feel, was showing how it was all her fault and how big of a piece of shit she is.
Yeah. Only
was-
when she drinks, you know?
Right.
If you read
But
those
no,
transcripts, it goes beyond actually just like trying to control her. He actually is threatening to kill her, and he has like friends out in Milwaukee that are gonna come find her and murder her.
His
Like you
little
said,
friend in the
Jay,
video.
Yeah.
it really does feel very much like you said, Jay, like a pimp that's controlling you know, one of his quote unquote hoes. Like that's how they do it. They get in their head and that's my motherfucking money.
Yep,
If you walk
exactly.
away, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna fucking kill you.
when it comes to domestic abuse, a lot of men cannot let go. They see
It could
the
be 10,
woman-
15, 20, 30 years, and they still can't let it go.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. I agree.
they see
I mean,
them
I
as
live
property.
it. I know it for a fact. 20 years
They see
later,
them-
and it's like, I'm still dodging somebody. You know what I mean?
Oh, so am I. But they see them
I
as
mean-
property that they belong to him.
Mhm.
And he will never let her go, ever. Because that's
Well-
giving her power.
He got 1,000 fucking years to sit there and think about it because he damn sure won't be seeing her
And
anymore.
he's going to harass her for every second of it.
But you know what? To tell you guys the truth, like a couple times I talked to her, like, and I told her, I said, you getting on that stand that second time around, I was like, you could just feel the fucking power radiating from you. You know what she said? She said, I was about tired of that motherfucker by that point.
I'm a boss ass bitch, 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 bitch. I'm a boss ass bitch, 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 bitch. I'm a boss ass bitch, 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 bitch. I'm a boss ass bitch, 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 bitch. I'm a boss ass bitch.
Nice, good for her.
See,
When she
Well, I'm
looks
sure
back,
it's a lot easier for her now that he's locked up
yes,
because
she
she's
said
almost
that.
deprogramming herself.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
How
people
cringy was
around
it when
her,
he told her
because
happy
he's not
birthday?
interrupting it, right? Like, she would have like a friend or two who would say, hey, listen, this isn't right. And then later that night, she's with him, and then the whole programming starts all over. So all the good things that her friends were trying to do, but saying, hey, this isn't right, all gets undone at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
You know,
Right?
she's not friends with those people anymore. I thought that was weird because I thought that was a good, you know, I thought that they were going, like, what they went through that would have kind of made them friends for life. Her and the lady, Corey, yeah, they're not friends anymore.
I was about
No,
to
they
say
don't
those
speak anymore.
those women's shelters are very much indicative of the system, and that's, I mean, speaking personally from somebody who's been in and out of the system. I haven't been in abuse shelters, you know what I mean? I'm not going to get into my background, but you very much meet these people and become kind of like fast friends with them, and then once you get out,
They just
you know, as
disappear,
much as
yeah.
as much as you promise yourself, like, oh yeah, let's exchange numbers, let's hang out. Life just has a way of getting in the way. And to speak to what you're talking about with Erica having, you know, feeling more powerful once he's in jail, those shelters, a lot of women, it almost is like detox because they're under such the routine. Their brain patterns have developed to where they're so comfortable in, you know, being controlled. They literally have not experienced life where they don't have that person. Like, you see it even when she's in the shelter, Darrell starts texting her and she immediately just submits and goes to find him. Yeah. And so a big part of those shelters for a lot of the women when they first show up, it's just like hanging out in a room by themselves, just like literally learning how to be a human again. It's a big part of that process. It's like, you have rights, you matter. It's for some people as simple as you can eat a meal. This is your food, that's yours, go take that. It's as simple as that for some of these girls that just get so wrapped up under somebody's finger of control. It's really sad.
It is sad. It's very sad.
I think in a few years, when Erica looks back at what she did, when she's in a better place in her journey, she will understand how powerful and life-changing what she did was.
Exactly.
And I
It was
hope she
easy
does,
for him.
I really do.
It was easy for him, for Darrell, because she's very shy. She looks very shy.
Oh, yeah.
Type of personality that would fall into that very easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, then you
In
take
my
into
opinion,
the
I don't know
of
her.
it as well. You also have to take into consideration, you know, there's females who are adults who have that kind of personality and fall into that. But then you put you know, into the fact that she's 14, 15, no family, no nothing, and how easy that was. Like, just literally, she was like a bunny to him, like just like prey. You know, like she might as well had a sign on her.
He put her out. He took her out there from Atlanta to
Georgia.
Wisconsin. To Wisconsin, and that was
Wait,
a fucking
hold on.
straight.
The girl from France is correcting us on our own geography. Sorry.
She's stuck out there now because I would imagine she has to stay in Wisconsin until these trials are over.
Yeah, because she was only supposed to be there for like what she had said, like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Like she thought she was just going on vacation to like see him and his family or whatever, and then she comes there, finds out, well, we got to sleep in a car. I never saw his mother.
God, can you imagine?
And then she had no money to get home.
I don't know. I just think that it's a fucked up situation because their daughter, pretty much went through the same exact shit. Like she had a kid recently when she's like 15. It's such a
that's the baby in the pictures.
Yeah, it's like a generational fucked up curse. But I think it's been broken because he's no longer the common denominator. He's gone now. So hopefully these people can heal and move on with their lives because he is the one who brings the chaos. So with him being locked the fuck away forever, like unless you're taking his calls from jail, like how he can't do that anymore, I imagine. So
yeah, we know she's not. Don't they say that at one point that you tried to call her like 30-something times?
37 times.
She over his ass. Like she's over his ass. Like trust me on that. I think that
when he told her happy birthday.
Oh,
that was
he
sick.
did that on purpose. He did that on purpose.
He was like, happy
she
birthday.
was in the courtroom the day before. He was in the court. She was at the courtroom the day before because remember the whole thing where he was like, "Oh, I don't want to say who it is," and he was being all coy about it. And Opera was like, "It's no big, guessing game. It's Erica." So she was at that courtroom before her birthday.
Wow.
So he could have questioned her before that. That was all orchestrated by him.
I wish Opera could have been the judge.
Could you imagine?
That weird smile thing. That was like his first thing when he smiled with
that black dude
Coming
judge.
back to
that black dude judge from that Murdoch case. I wish he could have been the judge. That dude is fucking hard as balls.
Coming back to the domestic violence part, Erica, to a certain extent, is programmed by him.
Right.
Yeah.
She knew the real Darrell Brooks. If you go back to that one chunk of video where him pounding on the table, then glaring at Judge Doro, that is the real Darrell Brooks.
That's him. As soon as he did that, I said, "Ooh, he let the mask down." And the mask kind of fell right down.
Mask on, fuck it, mask on, mask on, fuck it, mask on.
I bet she saw that all the time and was terrified. So she did exactly what he wanted, so she didn't see or deal with that.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, before we start, guys, just do me a favor, and if one person is talking, let's just try to let them say what they need to say. People were leaving a lot of comments last time that like it can be hard to hear sometimes if multiple people are talking, so under 906.11, let's just try and if one person's talking, just let them say what they want to say, and then just please wait until they finish. Okay?
Got it.
Thank you.
Me off alone.
Sorry.
All good.
I don't have the First Amendment right anyway. I'm in France.
Charlotte.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
A gas station on that route.
Yes, you did.
Do you see that gas station depicted on Exhibit 1?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us where it is?
Yes, it's the mobile gas station highlighted with a star, and I'll circle it in that area.
Do we have a screen capture here?
Yes. The screen capture has been done. When we get that color print brought to the courtroom, that will be
area.
Do we have a screen capture here?
Yes. The screen capture has been done. When we get that color print brought to the courtroom, that will be 1B.
Okay. And this map is you're familiar with Waukesha, right?
Yes.
This is an accurate map of Waukesha?
Yes, it is.
And the markings that you've put on the screen here, that's an accurate representation of the route you took with Miss Patterson on November 22nd?
Yes, it is.
Move exhibits 1A and 1B in evidence.
Any objection?
So the yellow is where Darrell took Erica?
The objection noted, it's over.
I guess so.
Exhibits
I think
1A
so.
and 1B are received by the court.
That's all I have for this witness.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness? Go ahead.
Well, that was a dumb question.
Detective.
Sorry. Good morning, Detective Wu.
Good morning.
You've been in law enforcement for over 20 years. Would that be fair to say?
Correct.
At any time during your over 20 years of service, have you ever had any interaction with the plaintiff in this matter?
Sustained.
Oh, dear Lord.
Jesus.
Can you
It's the
state
best you
for
can
the
come up
record
with.
if the plaintiff is in court today?
Sustained.
Have you ever seen the plaintiff?
Sustained.
Still going.
His face like he's, man, I got so much swag with these questions.
Sustained.
Yeah, he really thinks he's doing something here
Look
for
at-
sure.
Look at Zach with the nails. He's just like so
Picking his
embarrassed for
nails.
him.
He's literally picking his nails, just like, yep, just another day in court with this asshole.
At one point, he was playing solitaire on his computer. I was convinced he was playing like solitaire on his computer a lot.
I give that man credit, though. I can't believe he was able to keep his composure the way he was, like being like the man of the group.
Takes a lot of
That
willpower.
he was able to sit there and have this jerk off talk to these women this way, and he respects them.
Are
Right?
you from New York? That jerk
I'm
off.
Jersey.
Okay, Jersey. Yeah, I
I'm
thought
20
so.
minutes away. I'm 20 minutes away from New York.
I'm walking here.
So whenever we played that video clip of Witch Out helping Darrell, that Boss movie did, we talked about it last week. That convinces me that Witch Out does like the American Psycho routine in the mornings. He like wakes up, does like 1,000 crunches, puts on his almond scrub. He's like a total, like probably does like 1,000 push-ups in the morning. Puts on his like
in front of the
his
mirror.
almond face scrub. Yeah, total Patrick Bateman.
Spoken to the plaintiff.
Objection.
On what grounds?
Sustained.
On what grounds?
It's sustained. Next question.
May I ask what grounds, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, do you
He
have
does
any
have
questions?
dead American
I do.
Psycho
I'm
eyes.
just trying to follow the rules that you
Kinda.
set by saying that an objection has to have a.
If you watch
Unless
him,
it's self-evident
he
to the court.
barely
It's
blinks.
sustained.
I remember listening to Anthony Hopkins when he did Hannibal Lecter.
Do you have another
He
question?
said what he did to make him more frightening is barely blink.
11. I will give the state an opportunity to ask any redirect
Yes, I do have more questions.
Go ahead.
Um,
I swear to God.
You know what about Zach? When he's very, very angry, sorry, his
at any
ears
time
are
did
red.
Erica Patterson report any
Yeah.
nasty incident
There were times
to
I
you?
thought he was going to fly over and punch
Yes.
him.
Yeah,
Do you
me
remember
too.
the dates that she reported or date?
Yes.
At any time during that report, did you find her to be untruthful?
No.
Just 1 second.
Was this the whole forthright thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody get him a
Learn.
dictionary.
Yeah, learn
Please.
English, Darrell. Learn English.
I'm reading from the narrative of your report, and specifically the part where it says, "What I learned from Erica Patterson was that when I spoke to her on a previous evening with Detective Barrett, she was not completely forthright with all of the information she had given." Would that be fair to
He
say?
fucking
Correct.
loved that line. He loves his
He really
reports
thinks
too.
that means lying.
He's like obsessed with the police reports.
Well, because that's all he has.
So would it
That's
also
not
be fair to
true.
He
He's
say
doesn't
got
understand
autism.
what the lawyer. Right, but he doesn't understand what the lawyers are writing. And so he goes by the report because he didn't do any kind of preparation. So he skims those and asks questions off that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've said a couple of times that he reads off his pre-prepared lawyer questions and then he goes on to his sovereign citizen crap like, did you see the plaintiff? Is the plaintiff a ghost?
Yeah, and that's when he goes to the reports after that. It's like the 3-phase. Every time it goes in 3 phases: the prepaid, worked lawyer questions, the sovereign movements, and then he picks up a report, and then just literally like to the point where he's asking about semantics, like, why did you say this one thing this way? That's not actually what happened. You used the wrong word. You perjured yourself. It's like he's more obsessed with trying to trip people up than he is trying to actually prove he didn't run over 70 people.
From the report that you wrote, that you're acknowledging that there was some untruth in the report reported to you?
No, that's incorrect.
Forthright does not mean lying.
When I spoke to her on the previous evening with Detective Barrett, she was not completely forthright. You said what you learned was that she was not completely forthright. So is it fair to say that there was some untruth
Instead of
to
the
the report?
Bible, you should have taken a
No.
dictionary.
So why would that be in a report?
For various reasons. The most common reason is that when domestic victims report crimes that happen to them, a lot of times they're very afraid of their abuser, and so they don't always give all details, because if they do give all details about what happened to them, they feel like they might have something happen to them in a future date
Perfect
from that same
answer.
abuser.
Bingo.
And he still doesn't get
So
that
would
he
it be
has the
fair to
wrong
say
word.
that you could have just stated what you just said in your report?
I did state that.
Not in a report.
He did.
Is it fair to say that obviously
It's
you've
talent,
been
man.
in law enforcement for a very long time?
Is that a question?
Would it be fair to say that it could have been reported in the way that you just stated, instead of stating in your report that there was untruthfulness?
I didn't state untruthfulness in my report. If you further read into the report, I state what I just stated.
Boom.
Bam.
Well,
Look at Zach.
You
I
done?
love it.
Look,
So would it be fair to say, though, that there
Oh, there it is.
Would it be fair to say that's really annoying? You keep saying, would it be
the
fair to say?
information wasn't completely
he needs
forthright?
a thesaurus.
Yes.
Something.
To the best of your knowledge, would it be fair to say that there um, was in fact only one incident?
No.
Mm. At the door.
It's so odd that he harps on this thing from the 20th so much, because they dismiss the charges. Like, why does he care so much? He's not being charged with that. If anything, he's providing evidence to suggest otherwise. If he just left it alone, he could have made the argument that nothing would have happened.
Yeah, he's the one that's making it something happen because he could have just, it's almost like he's trying to like make them say it didn't happen instead of being like, we're just not going to charge you, because they're just kind of insinuating it did happen, but they're not saying, Darrell Brooks, you did not do that. But he's like wanting them to give him some kind of like validation that it didn't happen.
I think it all goes back to Erica. Like he's obsessed with proving that she's a piece of shit of a person, and that just validates that she lied about what happened on the 20th. So it's just
Oh, you're right.
It all goes back to her. He's psychotic.
He's trying to protect his reputation that he's this good guy, and he wouldn't do that stuff.
Narcissism.
Narcissism.
Hey guys, so we're gonna have to call it here. There was like another hour or so of the trial that we watched when we recorded this day, so I'll be editing that this week and releasing it probably in the next couple of days. We're also going to be recording again this Sunday, so if you like this series and you'd like to be a part of it, just like you see the viewers in this video, feel free to click the link to the Discord in the description, and we'll get you in there. We usually record on Sunday. There are also links to the Patreon, the merch store, the Cash App, Tip Me, Super Thanks, all that YouTube stuff. If you can contribute, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. Actually, if you guys didn't notice, do you guys know that little like blue watermark in the bottom of the corner? It's on all my videos. This thing. It's finally gone now! People contributed enough that I was able to upgrade to like the paid version of Power Director, and so I just want to take a second and say thank you to anybody who did contribute. It's so awesome. You guys are the best. And thank you to anybody who may contribute in the future. And most of all, thank you, the viewer, for watching these videos and for watching this video all the way to the end. You are awesome. I hope you know that. Come here, look at me, look at me. You are awesome. Just look at you. Wow. Just amazed. Alright, so anyways, barring any of that, keep up the good work. Keep your eye out for part 2. Like and subscribe to this video, and we will see you in the next one, okay? Alright, guys.